Assalamu alaikum. Now we will start our next lecture. As you have no problem in the previous lecture, so we'll be continuing. Now, today I will teach you about LO4, that is be able to research and present information on emerging technologies. It is based on that how you will do research, on what basis, and how will you present your research in form of a presentation. If you have to present something, how will you present your research, on what basis, or what will be the points, what will be the information according to emerging technologies, that how will you represent it. Now, first we will talk about present findings on research in written format, and then explain research approaches available to investigate emerging technologies, use own self-review to improve own work by implementing any findings. These are the objectives that we have to focus on: approaching to emerging technologies, develop own findings, and knowledge of research presentation format. Now, first, we will see about present findings of research in written format. That how will you present it in a written format? Now, whatever you have researched about emerging technologies and all the topics which we covered in previous sessions, you have to simplify, write down on your own findings from that basic research. Now, for example, what you have to learn from the research, what are your findings, what do you recommend for future studies. For covering this AC, you need to write research findings in written format. First, you have to use clear, accessible language. Means you don't need to add some difficult wordings, like the next person won't understand that what are you saying. You shouldn't have to write some medical terms, you can say, or scientific terms that have specific meanings, and normal people cannot read it, or normal people cannot understand your wordings. So, communication level. So, you have to use the language which can be communicated easily without your explanation. Second, explain how the research was done. That how you started your research first, what was your step, then what else steps have you taken, and how you have finally reached your goal, how you finally have done or finished your research. Then highlight your main findings and any recommendations you have. What are your main findings or main focus of that presentation or for that research? For example, your main research was when you interacted with some professionals, you have talked about some professionals, or you have taken information from their research, and what you have find out, the main thing of it, you can say you have gathered all of your data and main findings which you will carry on your research, on the basis of which finding you have carried out that research. That are your main findings, and recommendations, that from where you have get the information, and or where you can get more about it. For example, you're not explaining each and everything in very detail, so you will recommend some websites, or you can recommend some YouTube channel that can present, or that can be in a favorable of your research. Make it relevant to the audience you want to influence. No, what audience want, you have to focus on that main point, how you can convince audience, or how you can influence that audience with one that relevant point. You understand my these points that I have discussed, how you can write the written information.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, the presentation should provide suggestions for a range of industries such as health, financial, and manufacturing. Now, when you're talking about emerging technologies, you must present some suggestions of industries, like what type of technologies are used in health, what technologies can be used in financial, and what technologies can be used in manufacturing, etc. Next is about explain research approaches available to investigate emerging technologies. Now, what can be the procedure through which we can investigate or we can tell about emerging technologies? First of all, we will see that what is research approaches. Research approaches can be defined as the collection of procedures and plans that decide the overall process of research. Research approach decide the method of data collection, analysis, and interpretation. First, we have collected the data, then we have to refine that data analysis. We have to do analysis that what part of that data is more beneficial for us, and how we will interpret or be interlinked with, that data with the emerging technologies. Okay, the concept of research approach is followed in the entire research process. There are many factors to selection of research approach, such as research objective, experience of research, the audience of research study. Now, research approaches is basically all the collection or procedures of the plan or all the process from which we go through. Now, research approach, first of all, we will see that what the topic is about, how we will take this topic further, what do an audience need, what I have to focus about. First, I will see, okay, what that basically one word mean. If we are doing research on emerging technologies, we will see what is the meaning of emerging technologies. Then we will see that what is emerging technology, how it is being used in today's life or how it was missing in previous life, why we have started using it. These all are the processes, and in the end, we will tell about the future of emerging technologies. Next, what are the types of research approaches? Now, basically, there are two types of research approaches. One is qualitative, and second is quantitative. Now, what is qualitative? The quality of your research should be good and understandable. And quantitative, that is in the quantity, that you have enough research information or data. The quantity should be good also. It's not only quality. If you are doing research, it doesn't matter that you have written a one paragraph with a lot of about it. The quality, like what is emerging technologies, how it is done. No, we don't need only one para which describes its quality or about what is emerging technologies. We also need a quantity. We need an variations to which we could understand better about emerging technologies. Now, when the researcher wants to determine or check the presence or absence of an element in the study, then qualitative method is are used. Whereas when the researcher wants to determine the level of elements present, the quantitative method are used. Now, it depends on what type of research we are carrying. If it is only about the presence or absence of an element in the study, the quality will be used. Then we only have to describe about the quality of that particular element. But where we need to determine the level of elements presence, that how many types of elements are present in it, or how many vast things are included in it, then we have to use quantitative method. And Abdullah, if you don't understand any of these points, please point out me right there. Okay.
Okay, miss.
Quantitative techniques make use of advanced statistical techniques where qualitative methods employ open-ended questions which utilize direct quotations. Now, when we have provided all of the quantity, so there will be less, I think, questions for people in mind to ask, because we have uh, provided them a variety of I can say a variety of things or a range of data collection. But when we need an open-ended questions which utilize direct quotations, then we refer quality method, because some of the audience just focus on quality. They need an approved quality for that thing. The quality should be good. How will you quality that product, or how your findings prove that basic element qualitative element. Now, the researcher can utilize quantitative method in the form of statistical techniques for hypothesis testing and qualitative method in the form of semi-structured interviews. Both the method increase the researcher's understanding of the social phenomena. Now, first we'll talk about qualitative research approaches. What are the approaches of qualitative research? Researchers employ qualitative research method to study human behavior and habits. Obviously, to find out some, if we are talking about a person's quality, we will sit with that person, we will spend the time with that person, we will observe its behavior, its habits, that how a good human being he is. That is a quality, what quality that human being has. Either that human being is a good communicator, a good motivator, a good listener, a good speaker, a good observation. That are the qualities that we have researched or we have observed during talking with a human being. It is also useful in product management for identify the product features that will help it to get sold. Now, how we can take a qualitative research on a product. For example, there is a new mobile phone which has a great memory, which speed is good, RAM is good, but how we can tell its qualitative properties by using it? We will download a lots of data on that mobile. We will run many apps at a time. So we should know that how this mobile is good, what are that mobile's qualities are. So that will be proven. Now, for example, a product manager planning to launch a mobile phone would definitely want to know the habits and preferences of the target segment so that he may incorporate the same in the design of the product. After this has been done, quantitative research is employed to test whether the design of the product is acceptable as per the standards or not. Now, we have done with the quality part. After we have proven the quality part, then we can be next step will be quantitative, that quantity is enough or not, it is acceptable by the standards or not. Characteristics of qualitative research. What are the characteristics? Characteristics are, it is a process to understand the uniqueness of situations in a particular context, that how that thing is unique from others in some particular situation. The researchers focus towards data collection and analysis process during the qualitative research. That how a data can be collected, or how we have analysis, or how we have worked on that process. Qualitative research involves a lot of field work. The emphasis is on observing the respondents in their natural settings, their homes, workplace, entertainment, sports, etc. Now we have to check the quality of that product in everywhere. Like we want to make that device a friendly device where or a portable device that can be carried out everywhere. Now what will be its quality everywhere, at home, at work, at entertainment? That is the main example of a mobile phone. We can carry a mobile phone everywhere, but does that mobile phone supports heat element? For example, it's very hot outside, but when we using at mobile, its RAM get heated, its machinery get heated, then will it stop working or not? What is that quality? Then the research strategy which is employed in qualitative research is inductive in nature. This research methodology relies on abstractions, concept testing of hypotheses, rather than relying on a body of existing theory. What is our research strategy? Because before starting the research, we have some goal, like what are we researching? What is the main reason, or what is the main point we are focusing on? So we have to first build a strategy to find out the quality of something. Now this research methodology relies on, first we have to abstract that what basically we are going to find out, then concept, what is our concept through which we will research or we will test on our data, except of instead of we rely on some others data set, like we just search on internet about something existing theory and then we rely on that. No, we have to be proven, or we have to be personally use that thing to make our quality better. Now we will talk about quantitative research approaches. Now, Abdullah, what do you think is quantitative research approaches? What is that?
It is like scientific research for mathematics.
Yes.
It is scientific research for mathematics. I think.
Yes, mainly that thing. That what is the quantity? How much true it is, or how much we have gone through to get some main research. So it is like a quantitative approach is mostly used in scientific researches. Now, why it is scientific research is because quantity is needed in scientific, because they need to prove it, either it is true or false. So they have gone through many researches or testing and they have to yet prove it. Quantitative researches are also called true science, as this approach heavily relies on mathematical and statistical research techniques to obtain the results of research activity. Now, quantitative research is mostly used in physical science, social sciences, education, management, etc. Its nature is exactly opposite from that of qualitative research. Quantitative research employs a standardized format for generating and testing various hypotheses, testing models. These hypotheses have to be tested using mathematical and statistical technique. Now, first, we were just talking about when mobile phone, we have to check the quality of that mobile phone, that how much data it can save or how many apps it can run on the same time. We just have to orally tell them. But when it comes to quantitative research, now we have to tell them in detail that when we are using the mobile phone in our houses in a normal temperature, how it is running at that time, or when the machinery gets heated, or when we are outside, how it works there. Now we have to observe its even each and every aspects. When we are using one app, this is the result, or when we are using 10 apps at a time, this is the result. So the quantity increases. It has, for example, when we are texting, now it varies. The testing also varies. When we are testing inside our house, what will be the adjustment of brightness, how we will use the texting, or when we are outside, the same texting will be different or not. It will be easy for us to text or not, or what else we have option instead of looking at the phone. You get my point? So quantitative research based on this, these hypotheses have to be tested during using mathematical and statistical techniques. That our techniques will change, our format or our base will be same, but our techniques will be changed for our quantitative research. Characteristics of quantitative research. It is based on number and relies extensively on mathematical and statistical techniques for the generation of the research results. It deals with analyzing of data because we need more data and we have to analyze all of the data, that either we are going right or wrong. It involves the undertaking of large number of studies that involve a specific focus. It may involve the investigation of a causal hypothesis or the examination of a large number of specific occurrence to reach a general result. Now we can collect many information as we can, and we, because we have to produce a journal result, that either this product is good or not, and for that we have to include more and more investigation and hypothesis or testing on one focus, and focus on that specific things. It involves some amount of detachment from the researcher, which leads to the production of objective numerical data occurring in a very controlled environment. Now, we have to detachment means we have to take a side from a researcher, that what particular things we have researched. No, now you have to observe it by yourself. You will become a researcher on your own, which leads you to the very a good part of research or a good part of a data, because you will be the observer also. The research design is predetermined. It employs the measurement and analysis in a systematic and structured manner. It can be easily repeated by other researchers. Now, it is not must that what you have researched, the other researchers cannot research it or they cannot test it. It is predetermined. It is not fixed that only you can do it. The validity and reliability can be expressed numerically using statistical techniques, and the emphasis is on evidence rather than discovery. Now, what is statistical? Means what is the ratio of using that thing, of that quantity. We can talk about some people, general people, about what we have researched or what are the ratios. Are we going right? Are they supporting our answers or our research or not? That is called statistical. It's not only your findings, it's on other people's findings also. You understand about qualitative and quantitative characteristics as well?
Yes, miss.
Now, our next topic is use own self review to improve own work by implementing any findings. That how will you use your own self review, your own findings to improve your own work by implementing any findings. You have to use your own self review to improve your own work by implementing any findings. This could take the form of learning, interpreting the research obtained, analyzing the research, and turning the research into their own work with their own valid viewpoints. Now, what is your observation, your viewpoint? You have to tell them very in a very briefly or implementing way that what you have found. Now, if you have an oral presentation, what you will do on oral presentation, the format for an oral scientific presentation is essentially the same as that of a scientific paper. Now, the presentation should include the following sections. First, you will give the introduction, then you will talk about methods, result, discussion, and acknowledgement. Now, what you will include in introduction? The introduction provides background information on the problem to be investigated. That what is your main topic, why you are choosing that topic, and what is that topic about. That is the intro of a specific thing. It should describe the current state and of knowledge about the problem. That what is the problem, why are you choosing that specific things, and what points are you focusing on, what are the basic problems, you can say. The introduction should conclude with a clearly stated study hypothesis and its experimental expectation. In introduction, you should include that what are your findings and what you think about it. What are the experimental expectations of other people or the people who are using that thing? Now, methods. The method section should describe the procedure used in testing the study hypothesis. That how I have studied about that thing, that particular element, what method I have used. Either I have gone through other people's finding, research theories, or I have researched it on my own. Procedures should be described in sufficient detail that they can be repeated by others. Materials, equipments, analytics, and statistical procedures should all be described in detail under methods. For example, you have done a survey method, or you have done the observation method, or you have done the questionnaire method about that element. You have to talk about all the methods that you have done. And then did you figure out by using graphical method that what is the main quality of that element, or how that element is used, or what is the basic use of that element, and how many people are using that. These all comes in method. Now if we talk about introduction, first you can take an example of a mobile phone. Now first of all, you will tell about mobile phone, that what is mobile phone, and why we are using mobile phone, how mobile phones have been invented, and what are we focusing on. Like we are testing on mobile phone, either it can work on home and outside in the same way, or we are talking about some basic app that by using that app inside our home in a normal temperature and outside in a hot temperature, does our mobile support us or not. Then method, what are the methods you will use. Methods will be, you are sitting inside the house and you are using it, that is your self observation, your self experiment, and then you go outside. And then you can ask from randomly person about, when you're sitting in the home, is the texting easy in home or at outside. Now you are doing a survey. Okay, that was the method. And now we come for the results. The results section is a summary of the experimental outcomes of the study. Results should include a concise verbal description of the outcome, as well as tables and figures showing statistical results and experimental error. Tables and figures should include legends explaining what they are summarizing. Now if you have gone with your own findings, you can simply write the results, that what experiment I have done, and this is the outcome of the study. And if you have done a survey by asking the people about that, then you will have to use other methods to explain your answer, that how many people are satisfied, they do not find any differ by using texting method inside and outside, and how many people differ. You have to make a tables and figures or graphs to explain that. Then there is a part of a discussion. Obviously when you have the result, but still you will discuss that how your result are defined, how your results are proven, how your results are true. The discussion section is where the results are interpreted and conclusions are drawn. The discussion should also compare the results to those of other studies and give the general significance of the finding. Now, if there are 2 to 3 persons who are working on that findings, now after the results, all the results of that persons, all the persons will be compared and discussed, that which one's result is more significant. Study limitations, source of error, and plans future work are usually presented in the discussions. That in what limitations they have finded the result, what are the sources of error if there are any error, and how in the future they will work. Now there is time for acknowledgement. What is meant by acknowledgement? Do you know, Abdullah?
To acknowledge someone else that is anything.
Yes. Now it is important to acknowledge all contributors to the study, including your research mentor, your mentor's research associate, computer consultant, and finding sources. Now, when we talk about, for example, that was a project for students. Now, 3 or 4 students are working on mobile phones of their problems, that texting or its apps, and how it is worked, how the mobile phone is working. Now, we have to acknowledge each and every viewpoint, that from which point of view he has produced that result, the base. We have to consult, we have to associate each and everyone's research, that what findings or through what methods he has done these findings, and what was the matter that or what was the question in his mind, how he has uh, think about that issue. We have to acknowledge that thing, that from which source of mind he has done these all research. You should also acknowledge any business organization or institute that donated equipment or material for use in the study. You will also acknowledge that how you have used that findings. uh, you have discussed with any business point of view or any organizations or institute that donated equipment or that use that equipment in their regular use for their ease. Now that then there is presentation software. To present anything, you will use a software like PowerPoint. You will produce it like in a slides, and what that slides contain, or what that slides how that slides will be more, I would say, attractive to other people. Your background, your writing sequence, that should be images, there should be tables or graph, if there is needed, that can elaborate or that can enhance your findings. And you can animate the presentation. For how you will animate means make a small video like, one person is sitting in home and he or she is texting or using its phone, and other people is outside. Now when there is so much of sunlight, we cannot focus on our mobile. We usually need to put a hand on our mobile and we have to see. Now that is the difference, and that you can show through either screenshots, either pictures, or some animated video or images. And then there is computer projection equipment will be provided. The projection is equipment will also will can be needed if you are presenting slides, because you cannot slide, if there are many people you cannot show them on your mobile screen. You need a projection to show each and every person that what you are up to. Now, do you understand that how we will present a research on a presentation software, using any presentation software, how we will present our research?
Yes, miss.
Next is research paper. The research paper you submit should have the same general format as your oral presentation. All literature used should be cited by author and publication year in the text with complete bibliographic creations at the end of the paper, references basically. That first of all you will tell about, like I have told you as a oral, like you will tell the introduction, then you will go for what was the next format after introduction? Abdullah, do you remember what was the next form introduction? It was method.
This is in introduction method, then to a person software, then
Yes. After
basic.
methods, the results were generated, and then after the results, it was discussion and then acknowledgement.
Yes,
Now, in a research paper, now that was the oral, but when we are writing it on some book or we are making a documentation, we will start likewise. First, we will give the introduction, the problem, and all the introduction about the thing. Then we will go for the methods, that what was the problem and how we have started to resolve that problem, or we have talked about that problem. Then what were our results, and then the discussion that how many results were generated and what was the best result or what were the issues, and how we have acknowledged all the things, and then we have to present it. Now in the written research paper, we have to focus on our grammar, our literature, and our grammar also. We have to talk about each and every part we have gone through when we are researching, and when we are observing, and we are having that research time. We have to write it on all of the text with complete information, and especially from where we have taken the references. For example, we have searched what websites or we have sees what videos. We also have to give at the end all the references, that these references has helped us to complete our research paper. Okay, do you have any question regarding today's lecture?
No, miss.
You have understood each and every part?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so have you seen the assignment one task?
Before I have done the half of task one, like 4 and 5 beginning question. The miss had before we have done with Miss Sinza.
If you have any question regarding that assignment, because the next assignment class will be soon, so please ask in the group and they will pass your question to me. Okay.